1.
Ah, that wonderful sound.
So do we start talking now?
Hold on a sec here.
We're not recording yet.
Yeah, we're actually just
That's a he'll do the countdown.
But we're not recording yet. Like the recording box is not recording yet.
Yeah, I'll be right back. 1 sec. I just
Roger, then we'll start.
he needs to get water. Is somebody watching something in the background?
Not me.
What the hell just happened there? Okay, I'm gonna retweet yours. That way That way the link is out there.
Yep.
It's really no point for me to write it out again and post the link. That's really completely extraneous. Maybe is the word. One of these times we're gonna have to retry to do the era anime thing we were doing.
Oh yeah.
Now that actually stuff is what's the word I'm looking for? We're having not having equipment failures, and you know. But of course the thing is we got to get something new because it's got to be something none of us have seen. Otherwise, it won't be nearly as funny.
Have you seen the Nanaha movies?
I still need to see them.
No, I have not yet.
I wouldn't be too surprised if that the movie that they announced for Kokai no Kanata is a compilation because they did that with the Chinibyo. But also, they may want to capitalize on how Monica did, but at the same time, it might be a whole new story thing. Yeah.
Okay. That's set. That's set. That's set. That's set 2. Ready on my end.
Yep. Here come the pain.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
This doesn't need to be open.
Alright,
No?
ready.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, everyone ready?
Yep.
Roger Dodger.
Alright. And 3, 2, 1. Welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Enforcer Anubis.
K-Gods.
I'm VZ Mark II.
And we have a special guest.
Yes, we do.
Yes, and I'll be called Warp Shadow today because that's what VZ wants.
There we go.
And what VZ wants, VZ gets, man.
I told him he sounds like it sounds like such a great Transformer name.
Correct. Which will now be perverted into a My Little Pony character.
Really?
What? You know it's true. That does sound like something that would happen with a name like that.
Yeah. So I want to go with what happened to me this week.
Yeah,
Okay.
please do before I start thinking up cutie marks and shit.
Okay. Last week I did a show with was it Otaku Midnight
Yes.
podcast, and that went very very well. We
That's
talked
good.
about Hidamari's sketch, but
It was great.
all right. So I told him, I got sent this Flowers of Evil Blu-ray that I just did not want.
Hilarious,
So,
by the way.
Kikaku Cat said, "Okay, I'll take it." And so, what did I get in return? He's like, "All right, I'm gonna send you something." What could I possibly have gotten? I got
Not talking to.
the first. Was it the limited? This is the limited edition version, by the way, with the original soundtrack of the first 2 Madoka movies.
Very nice.
I haven't watched it yet. I mean, I've seen it on computer already, but I mean, I haven't watched it on my yeah.
See, okay, so you traded the Flowers of Evil for the limited edition first 2 Madoka movies with the soundtrack and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no lose in this whole scenario.
Exactly. And what I sent
like
them wasn't
I'm
even
gonna give you
open.
$1 and you can give me, a Ferrari.
By the way, I retweeted your first one. It should still send them here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just because you posted another one just now and never mind. Go ahead. Continue.
What have you guys been watching?
I actually was watching some older stuff. And also playing, kind of really getting frustrated. I've been playing Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link again, and I'm trying to beat it without dying, which is actually a lot harder than it sounds, because it's the only Zelda game I can think of that you can be killed instantaneously in. Because there are certain things you can be, like pits and stuff, that you can be bumped into, and then it completely fucks over your run. And you can be playing for like 2 hours, and this happened to you.
Yeah, I was just playing Phantom Hourglass last night, and it's like you fall in a pit. It's like only half a heart. It's like
Yeah. The Adventure of Link is definitely the. They call it both the black sheep, but at the same time, it's also genuinely hard at times.
So I finally saw. I saw it a tiny bit when it was on Cartoon Network, but I finally watched Gundam: The 8th MS.
Oh, very nice.
What'd you think?
We'll talk more in detail about that at a later junction. But go ahead.
I liked when the Goof and the Goof Custom and the EZ8 were fighting. That was the best part.
Of course.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that.
The beginning part was kind of boring. The beginning part was kind of boring, but I like it has great design work.
Oh yeah.
Overall, a decent OVA.
Chronologically, I believe it came out after Wing, right?
Yes,
95. So
it's
around the same time.
Yeah.
Right. So it's one of the many cases of going back to the roots, as it were.
Yeah, but it did go. What is it? It was from 95 to 99. Something like that. It took a while.
Yeah, because there was a director change.
Yeah, the director I think died.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's really good. First off, I dare you not to get that opening song stuck in your head.
Oh, I know. Although still not as good. Still not as doesn't make you pumped up the way Winners and Men of Destiny.
Men of Destiny, yeah.
Although the opposite might happen for Magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always like, I try to mentally mute that, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
but yeah, as for watching stuff, I ran through what the hell is it called? I actually been looking into the new space battleship Yamato, which I'm actually liking.
Yeah, I started on that. I need to continue on that because what I saw was really good.
Yeah.
So I can see some people already bitching about it, mainly from a design perspective, but.
Oh, I also rewatched the show from 2010. I always forget I just call it's Sorry Demo. I just call it the Shaft Maid show.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
The one called And Yet the Town Moves. Decent Shaft show.
Right.
Main Girl is funny. It's not one of their bests, but it's amusing. And I think I watched something else, but I completely forgot what I did.
Alzheimer's kicking in, man.
Oh yeah, Love Live on Blu-ray.
Oh, there you go.
Which looks great on TV.
There's a right now on Twitter. There's a funny hashtag going out called "Write a Kotaku article." And some of these are pretty funny. I'm just gonna pick some at random. Hopefully they're humorous and not just ones that are bad. Okay, so let's check this out. Let me get it up here. Okay, facts and why they're inherently misogynist. Okay, let's see here. Dude, where's my job? A guide for future drifters. How 20 people control thousands of sock puppet accounts. What 4chan doesn't want you to know. Right. Why minorities need to check their privilege and listen to middle-class white women.
There we go.
All right, let's see here. How to protect yourself against virtual rape. I can see Patricia Hernandez actually writing that one.
That one's a bit too real.
Yeah.
Virtual rape.
Okay, rape culture and the objectification of women in Spyro. Do you remember Spyro?
Yes, I remember Spyro.
I had this dumb fucking smile on my face when I read that.
Shit.
I never played the full game, but I played it like on the demo disc.
I think I have Spyro Year of the Dragon around here somewhere.
I also played the demo for Croc. Anyone remember Croc?
Wow. I remember not playing that game.
Okay, here's a couple more, just for amusement.
Bug for the Sega Saturn.
Remember Frogger?
I remember that.
Remember Frogger for the Atari?
I remember Frogger and all of the spin-offs.
Right.
None of which were very good.
I actually grew up with the one called that Activision did called Freeway.
That's just funny to me for some reason. You know, that actually taught us a valuable lesson to look both ways before you try to cross the street.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a couple more. Is the Kinect part of a larger ableist conspiracy? Short answer, yes.
Here's another one I've seen. You've never heard of Patreon? Allow me to enlighten you while teaching you to donate to me.
There you go.
Okay, here's a really good one.
A lot of these people just doing Patreon accounts. Like, apparently that's the thing now.
Yeah. It's like everywhere. So give me money. I exist. Give me money.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Should we? Sorry. This one's pretty ridiculous.
I exist. Give me money.
This one is really ridiculous. Should we start considering the Japanese developers white based on their misogyny?
Nice.
Oh, that one made me spit.
Well, that's not good. Okay. One more. Okay. Otherwise, I can be here all day. Historical trends and research is no excuse for the lack of minorities and gender representation in samurai-era games. And then some people got really cute and actually posted real ones, just you know.
Oh yeah, because there were a bunch of those circulating around a few months ago.
And it really is hard to tell the difference.
Oh yeah.
Some of these are so absurd. But okay, yeah. Okay, here's one that just came in now. Polar bears in Assassin's Creed. The growing trend of white supremacy. Metaphors in gaming.
There we go.
Yeah.
A bunch of dumb people writing for a dumb website. Anyway, I've been watching a lot of Zeta Gundam lately.
Nice.
Yeah. Preach it.
Yeah.
Woo. Okay.
And it's great. Honestly, very, very well done.
But what have you been? Yeah, but wait. What have you been on since yesterday?
Yeah. So, for anyone who's watched Zeta Gundam, there's this mobile suit called the Methus. It's really dumb. It only exists to get blown up.
And to give power support to the Hyakushiki.
Yeah, which a Jeckyllgeek can do, so it's completely useless. Its design is awful. And I don't know who okayed this, but somehow we ended up with a mobile suit that's... And like, I confirmed this, VZ confirmed this, we looked at the model kit, it is held up by one pole and two, like, struts
Pistons,
coming off the pole. Yeah, two pistons. That's literally all that's holding the top part to the bottom part. I don't know who designed this and who okayed this, but they both need to be shot.
I gotta look at the toy too. I gotta look at that, how that one.
So basically, what you're saying is it's the N64 controller of Mecha.
The Method is the N64 controller of mobile suits.
Yeah.
Except you can actually use the N64 controller for something. The Method, every time it goes out, it gets shot up.
As opposed to the N64 controller, which you can kind of use, or you can sit on it, or you know.
Basically.
Nintendo tends to have a real like that's the only time I can think of they completely flopped a controller.
Yeah.
I don't know. The GameCube one looks kind of.
The GameCube controller looks kind of weird, but functions infinitely better than the N64 controller ever did.
I've heard horror stories about the PS4 control, where like the what is it? The analog sticks. There's like a rubber coating on them, and the rubber coating like peels off with little use.
More or less, maybe. I know that the rubber coating on my PS2 controller is done. Like, it's not there anymore at all.
Yeah, but how old is that? Like 10 years old, probably.
I don't know. It was given to me by someone already rubbed off, so I don't know how long it's been.
Who knows what they did? Maybe they were sitting there like scalping it out to use it for parts or something.
Does it still
stuff with it?
Does it still work?
Oh, it still works perfectly. It's just the rubber coating's off.
Okay, I think I just looked up the Mathis, and I just realized I never really had the thought of it was a bad mobile suit.
Oh, I
feel like you see it's
I like the look, but
I don't like the look either.
There's very few. It's not a very the bad mobile suit. It's just that the Method is only powered by bad pilots.
There's some truth to that, because I don't think there's ever a good pilot in one of those.
Okay, yeah, to a certain extent, but just look at the design. Like, it's held up by
Whoa, what is that?
paper clips and hope. Gum and paper.
What the hell is that?
I was just checking the Gundam Wiki, and it did that for some reason.
Oh, okay, technical difficulties. We need that little sign that has the drunk guy behind the camcorder. You know, from The Simpsons.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you've been watching Zeta Gundam. Now you know the glory that is Paptimus Shirako.
Pimptimus Shirako. Whoever said pimpin' ain't easy never met Paptimus Shirako.
I just love the fact that he is incredibly just very obvious that he does not really care for these people.
Yeah, no, he just uses everyone.
I mean, you know.
I'd like to see is that in the sort of Gundam Seed Destiny, it almost turned into Athrum's hair.
Oh yeah, I was pissed off that they didn't really go more with that because it was already ridiculous. So they should have just went with it.
Yeah, it's like they should have had his harem versus Pat Shirako's. It's like that would have been awesome. Yeah, Shirako's like the evil harem guy. He's like every harem anime guy except evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. He's a complete asshole, definitely.
He's like Makoto Ito, except
competent.
Yeah. That's the word, competent.
Competent and likable because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's not just like I'm some fucking idiot bumbling around, you know.
Yeah, so I've been enjoying Zeta Gundam, and I've been playing along as far as I've gotten into the story of the anime in Gundam vs. Zeta Gundam for the PS2. So that's been enjoyable.
Right.
In any case, we're up against the break. Keep it right here on NTR Radio. We actually had a reasonably sized first segment for once.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well.
I'm trying to figure out about what you were saying, how the Mephis gets, because I'm looking at also the figure that they made, and it looks like, one little thin piece, and then two...
And then two struts, right?
Yeah.
Who okayed that design? Because I used to be an engineering student. I know that's not going to hold up in combat, especially.
And like I said, the idea, the visual I get is, since it has a dick, is that it's flying around in orbit, and it's just like hitting satellite debris and shit, getting caught on it.
Yeah, it's it's like what I was saying is there's very few bad mobile suits, it's just bad pilots. The methods they gave it like to Thaw and
Cass. Bob's just a bad pilot in general.
Yeah, it's...
How did she survive that long?
I don't know. How did Cats not survive almost the entire series?
I mean, just there's some mysteries, especially with Tamino at the helm.
Oh yeah, it's I would honestly I would have expected Bright to just start going to drink partway through that.
Because how many people are dying and stuff, just like
not just dying, but it's like everyone except for Emma seems to disobey orders as a matter of course. It's like,
just you gotta love Emma though.
Oh yes,
she's one of the most honorable characters in the entire show.
Yeah, she's very decent, and I think it's like I feel there's a problem with you. Because if you say Emma's your favorite character, not because she's a bad character, but it's like, what are you looking for a girl? It's like, you'd be scribbling out, not crazy.
Who's the one that defected to Titans?
That is her, Emma.
Rekko.
Yeah.
That's why I said she's one of the few people that were moral in that.
They treat
Rekko is the one that defects to the Titans.
Oh,
Emma's
to the Titans.
The Titans.
Yeah.
Sorry.
From the Titans is Emma.
Yeah. Rekko is under Paptimus's pimp spell.
Because they treat women better.
I just needed a guy.
Yeah, there's Char wouldn't give it to me, Which is funny because
because
that actually is kind of the case.
But he only likes little girls.
Char not banging people ruins things for everyone. All right.
We've
You
noticed.
didn't bang Haman Karn, and look what happened to her.
But he
You
only
didn't bang Em. You didn't bang friggin' Rekua, and she went over the Titans.
And allegedly,
Char needs to start taking one for the team.
And allegedly, he didn't bang Quest. So.
But
we don't know.
But we don't know. So. Char's counterattack. Maybe that's what he said. Maybe that's what he meant when he said he was going to do something wicked.
You should have did something wicked back in Axis. What's the age of consent on Axis? And
Yeah.
Do you really think they'd throw the Red Comet in jail? Really?
Yeah. I have a hard time buying that.
Let me show you why they call me the Red Comet.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, just.
First off, if you have a nickname like the Red Comet, needless to say, infamy, you know.
It's like, just put me in that position. Everything would be much better.
Or much worse. You never know. Something
Worse, maybe.
One of the two, but it wouldn't be boring.
The point is, I would bang Haman Karn.
Well, yeah. I mean, how many Xeon leaders, you know, A, are female, and two, are as competent.
Yeah.
While we're sitting here, a couple other ones if you want me to. Just some of these are really bad. Okay, I just had a thing and my computer decided to go on the Fritz. That's cool.
There you go.
Awesome.
Don't blame me. I didn't do it.
Okay, so some of these are just basic restatements of some of the ones that were already said, so I'm not gonna read those. Where were you? What game were you playing when the feds came knocking? A gaming journalist survey.
Here's another one. Today we learned that something called verifying claims is a thing. Who knew?
Right.
Hey, I've been keeping out. Even though I listen to other people's opinions, like Mundane Matt, about the Gamergate thing.
Well, technically, I believe now. If somebody wants to correct me on this, I believe technically he broke it, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it got taken down immediately with a DMCA notice.
Yeah,
and
that's what blew the whole thing out of the water.
Because then Aristocrat put his video up.
Got on board.
Right, and then everything just went.
Total Biscuit got on board.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I do love that. I've been telling the others, I do really like that photo of Phil Fish. You know.
The meme photo of him that's circulating.
He doesn't. He doesn't really look very. He doesn't look very upstanding in any photo of him.
My assessment of the whole thing, basically, someone that couldn't handle their own fame due to ego.
Perhaps.
That's a lot of these. A lot of these people. It's a lot of them.
You know, some people that get famous, shouldn't get famous. And
part of it is that they didn't even get famous through the normal means that people get famous in video gaming, which is by doing things. They got famous
in the actual industry.
They got famous by, this person said something bad about me that I didn't like, so I'm gonna complain about it, and that's what
I saw what the game looked like. It doesn't. It looks okay, but not something that takes 5 years worth of, which just proves my point.
It's a 2D puzzle platformer.
My
sentiments exactly.
Prove me wrong, but hipsters are generally a lazy bunch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I went to art school. I know they have no concept of the work ethic.
Lessons from VZ.
They don't operate in the meritocracy.
I love how we're talking about them like they're a different species. Like we're observing them in the wild on the Discovery Channel or something, and now you see the hipster being lazy in his natural lazy environment. Why Candy Crush should be offensive to diabetics?
Huh.
Yeah. Candy Crush is offensive to me.
And then non-diabetic privilege.
Yeah. Check your 9. Yeah, I should say that to people from now on. Check your non-diabetic privilege.
Okay, here's an interesting one because this one's probably got more truth to it than they actually. Okay, listen. Transgender at heart. New study claims that more men play as women than women do. In fighting games, that's probably true.
I think I play female characters in every fighting game that I do play. Except Virtualon, and those are robots.
Isn't also because the female character is just generally the agile person?
Generally speaking.
Yeah, it's like I remember Street Fighter 2. Straight up the most agile is definitely Chun-Li.
Oh yeah.
I also am a big fan of Cammy.
Cammy's nice.
Somehow, for Mortal Kombat, the female characters weren't as impressively stat-wise. I mean, some of them.
I don't know. I was actually pretty good with Katana.
I never really got into Mortal Kombat, so I have no idea.
I think I used Melina a lot.
Like 3 times in my life.
But that's because she had a really easy fatality, where it was just like hold, button down for 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we should probably try to get back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to NTR Radio. So we got Warp Shadow on this episode to kind of do a reprise of that episode we lost. Those of you who listen to that live, listen to that live. Those of you who did not don't know what we're talking about.
It disappeared into Narnia or some shit.
Yeah. Honestly, I have no idea what happened to it. No earthly idea.
I sold it for some Turkish delight.
There you go. Was the Turkish delight good?
I don't know if it's good. It's like, but apparently that one guy betrayed everybody for it, so it had to be at least somewhat good.
I hope it tasted good. Because if it tasted bad, then the whole thing just went to waste. Ruined a perfectly good episode of NTR Radio, and then the Turkish delight wasn't any good either. So no one wins. I just want someone to win.
Well, you're a gamer.
We can't have fun though.
Oh yeah, that's a neurological trick. I still can't get over that. That I hear that.
I'm still legitimately mad about that article.
We can't have fun with anime either,
Well, it's the same principle. It really is.
Same principle. It's gotta be. Well, that actually ties into the topic, which is anime reviews.
Yes, indeed.
This anime offends my Western taste, my Western morality.
Western taste.
Yeah.
Nobody talks like that, by the way. Nobody says they're Western tastes.
That's true.
They would probably say they're dilettantes or some shit.
What? Yeah.
So, yeah, real-time interaction, Cubase the III actually has a good point. As a result of that lost episode, we have a much cleaner recording method.
Yeah,
that doesn't rely on YouTube not being a dick.
It's true.
That and I'm actually lucid now, so
there we go.
Like a double plus.
It's double plus good. It's excellent. Okay, anime reviews. Have you read an anime review? I'm asking you, the audience.
An anime review.
The answer is either yes and you hated it, or no because
they're bad.
because they're bad. Yeah. I mean, we could almost end the show right there.
But so let's kind of because let's dissect like what's going on with anime reviews. So we've got so we got this group of people who they kind of take the format of an anime review and kind of use it to talk about stuff that isn't really related to the anime, use it to kind of talk about what
social justice or this thing offends me.
Whatever their personal agenda is and whatever their personal thing is. And here's part of what I envision when I look at an anime review. I want something that I can read, and I can read any anime review, and at the very least get an impression of whether or not I'm gonna want to check this show out.
Well, that's one part.
At the very least, preferably, I'd like to know whether or not I would enjoy the show.
Well, I think we all know one of the biggest problems is, people that review. All right, let's say, they get like a harem show, and this person hates harem shows, and that's not going to change, the person's opinion on. Rather, don't you think that you give it to someone that does like harem shows, but that doesn't necessarily mean, I have to like all harem shows.
No, what you're saying is that you should give it to someone more impartial.
Yeah. Well, actually, the whole objectivity thing is going around, but I believe to be able to write a review of any say a genre, you have to be able to parse a genre to actually say harem show A is good and harem show B is not so good, and be able to explain why.
You kind of got to break it down to its elements, look at the individual elements, and kind of weigh them against each other, right?
I'm a big fan of like Iyashikei, type shows, and there's been ones that haven't been as good as other ones,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, sure. I mean, if you want to, the same is true with anything. Ecchi shows, the whole bit.
Yeah. Because then I don't want to hear the other side where it's the other side of the argument where, they watch a show in a genre that in a subgenre that they don't like, but then it's like, oh, this show is surprisingly good, and then what's the line we hear?
Oh, it was good despite X or despite Y.
Despite the fan service. Watching said fan service show, but can we do without the fan service?
Yeah, it really does. What you said really does sound like a public service announcement. Like, oh, if I don't say this, my sponsors are going to leave.
Well, I think there is a point to saying it, but you have to word it correctly. It's for example, I think we're talking about strike witches indirectly.
Yeah, we'll use that as an example.
We can use that.
Yes, I'd point out that a lot of ecchi shows are not that good, and Strike Witches, from a strictly storytelling perspective, is actually quite good.
But Strike Witches. No, I'm sorry.
But the question is how does it worded? But yes, it's. I would say instead of despite the fan service. I would say is that more if you can get beyond the fan service or even enjoy it, yes, there should be no reason to not watch Strike Witches.
Well, the thing about Strike Witches in particular is a year before that came Sky Girls, which is like 95%, 99% the same show in concept, except
execution is not nearly as good.
yeah, Sky Girls is really boring and poorly choreographed fighting, whereas Strike Witches was quite well produced, had even though there's stereotypes of various world stereotypes, but it makes it charming that it takes those and has fun with it. Plus, the fight choreography is actually really good in Strike Witches.
Well, no, Warp Shadow has a really good point with that, though.
Yeah.
The way he words it, if you can get past the fan service, what that does is it brings the reader into the review, and that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Like this is kind of how I operate. Is like at the end of the review, it's a recommendation. Hey, if you like X, Y, and Z, you'll probably like this show. Or if you like X, Y, Z, A, you'll probably like this show.
Well, I've watched some things the opposite way. Like, I came into Baka Monogatari for the fan service, and I actually really like the characters and the story. But, I definitely did come for it for, the fan service. The first one I saw, which again, I didn't initially grab onto it. Granted, because I didn't see it from the beginning. I saw the episode with what's her face, Nadeko, her in her swimsuit, the part where she was wearing her swimsuit. I was like, I saw a screencast of that. Okay, I gotta see this. What this is? But then good thing I watched it the year after when the Blu-ray version came out. With the improved art and such. Because it's Shaft, that's what they always do, and I was like, oh wait, I really really like this,
I think everybody's watched something superficially and then actually was pulled into it, like deeper than they were expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's I think we just need a different wording for the term guilty pleasure, because I think pretty much everyone has something they like, but it's not for
I agree, because guilty pleasure. Okay, this shows where I like sit there. I've talked about with you guys like stuff like Seren Kagura, No Kame. These really like goofy, over the top, ecchi shows that they're not smart, but I find them fun, and I don't put them at the same level as like something that I where I like have to buy like Hitamari or K-On! But at the same time, I don't consider that guilty pleasure, because there's a reason. Guilty, you feel bad for watching.
I was just gonna say, there's no guilty in that pleasure.
The concept of a guilty pleasure is wrong to me.
Guilty.
My thing is, either you like it or you don't like it. If you like
guilty
it,
pleasure for me,
you kind of have this kind of shame about it. That's something external that needs to be taken care of.
Guilty pleasure for me is like Jesus Christ Superstar. No, really.
Well, no.
I feel bad for watching it because of what it is.
Why do you feel bad for watching it, though?
Because of what it is. That's
you enjoy watching it for whatever reason. But I'm not on board with this idea that I enjoy this but feel bad about enjoying it. Like
Captain Planet's another one.
Do you enjoy it?
No.
That's okay. Hey guys, you don't enjoy it. DZ, do you enjoy it?
I get some form of entertainment out of stuff like that.
My working word for that I enjoy this for shallow reasons.
Yeah, there you go. I can get on board with that. Because I can outright say that for a lot of things.
I think,
and then a personal thing, just like if it's a shallow reason, it's probably personal in some way.
Oh, I've been called out for liking things for a shallow reason.
Yeah, so what? Everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody has those.
I remember I did a review years ago, before there was the spin-off of Collection DX. There was of Otaku DX. There was just Regos. They were just doing anime reviews on Rego CDX, and I did a review for Bamboo Blade, and I said, oh, I liked the part when she was really excited about getting her expensive anime Blu-ray, anime DVD set of the show that he liked, or that the main character liked, and some fucktard called me up and was like, you like the thing because this character is exactly like you, and you know.
You really did some investigating there, didn't you? I mean, jeez.
You know.
It's like you holy fuck, you blew my mind with that observation.
You know, and then you said you bought it hook, line, and sinker. Like in other words, I'm a sucker. Like in other words, I'm a sucker for, you know.
Right.
That's another concept I can't get on board with. Like you bought this thing you enjoy, so you were tricked into it, right?
Yeah. That's the other thing. Like somebody can't possibly enjoy this on its own merits or terms. You know, they had to have been like ensnared somehow. I don't know. Is that like just like conspiracy theory mindset or something?
That's the whole concept of pandering, you know, because they're pandering to otaku.
Yeah,
because otaku are all mindless hive. Because they're all mindless hive mind, you know.
Can we all agree to just stop using that term?
Hive mind, yeah.
It's getting ridiculous. People are using it anytime they can.
Well, there's a group of people who disagree with me rather than an individual who disagrees with me. So they're a hive mind.
Right. Yeah. That isn't that kind of. Here's the thing. Okay, I'll give you an example. I love the fact that a group of like-minded people call other people a hive mind. I mean, there's no like self-awareness there.
No. These people have no self-awareness. No, they don't.
Let's all pat each other on the back and call someone else a hive mind. Yeah, such a big hive mind, all those people. Yeah,
of course.
You know, let's all nod, you know, agree with each other, and post each other's, you know, journalist articles.
How about doing when they do a review and they do like absolutely no cultural research, because you know it is.
Well, that's just them having no perspective.
Like, oh, this show promotes gun culture, right?
Okay, that's one that's
straight up not knowing what they're talking about.
This show
and being fucking stupid.
Sandy Hook just happened.
Right, exactly. But that's just terrible. Like, I don't know how to explain how stupid that is. That's like if some, I don't know, earthquake or something happens somewhere, or any kind of tragedy. I guess let's not use that because that's a natural one. But okay, there's a stabbing spree out in China somewhere. You know, are we gonna stop running like, I don't know, some fucking like movie on TNT or something that has a guy running around with a knife? No.
Besides, you're saying because of the actions of one psychopath in a different country that probably even Gynex didn't even know of, that we cannot have a story about girls playing with non-lethal toys.
And a culture that really doesn't actually have guns.
Well, it's this idea that we have to art.
With a capital A.
Art has to be sensitive to issues going on in places wholly outside of the culture that the art was created in.
Which
it's simply because the critic happens to inhabit that culture that the art was not created in.
And usually because they have a bone to pick with whatever, you know.
Oh, of course.
I mean, you know, hey, I don't really like, you know, guns, so hey, I'm not gonna like this show. Especially after a national tragedy, which the only reason I care about is because they're cramming it in my face 24 hours a day.
But that kind of goes back to what VZ was saying, is some people just shouldn't review certain shows.
Also, I really hate this whole thing about, there is a contingent of anime reviewers that really want anime to, and there are a few, but anime that have done this, but that anime address social issues.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing: if it addresses,
they want anime to address our social issues.
I was gonna say, if they're gonna address social issues, they're going to address Japanese social issues. I guarantee it. Not so much here, and then you have the people who would say, well, yeah, but Universal, and it's like, well, there are other things that do that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, besides, I think it's all well and good to address social issues, but the thing is, you need to have a creator that has a good idea on how to do that. Otherwise, you're pretty much telling the 21st century. It's like a lot of social issues would be come down to, okay, say racism. The problem is a lot of the bad ones. Well, not the non-clever or expanding ones amount to telling 21st century Americans who do not hard link Stormfront that the Holocaust is bad.
Right.
Right. There's a certain element of also of heavy-handedness too. I mean.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's like, oh, if you like appear not to care about what they care about, they get fucking really mad.
Yeah.
And that's funny because like I don't care if they care what I care about.
Which, by the way, I if there's a show that happens to have social satire, social issues that just happen, and I'm like, oh, okay, and that's fine. There's nothing, but I'm not specifically looking for it. One of my favorite things, I really like Koji Kometo stuff. Sign as Zetsubo Sensei, and especially Joshiraku, because
humor.
Well, it's observing, it's social satire. I know that in general, especially the the otaku, which is the ones that buy anime, aren't generally interested in social issues, but he knows how to get their attention in a way, do that, but get their attention in a way and still do the social satire.
And at the same time, when people are this heavy-handed, it feels like they're trying more to promote a message than they are the actual thing.
Oh yeah.
And that's line, really irritating.
As far as I'm concerned, it's got to be entertaining first. If it's not entertaining, I don't give a damn what your message is.
No, it's like when you got like a musical group that isn't very good, but they have this big message. And everybody like jumps on board with that message, but then like outside of their message, like they're just completely boring to listen to.
Yeah, like for example, why I put Princess Mononoke as like a good environmental movie is not just because it has the message, but because Miyazaki was clever enough to actually feel like he's presenting sides and not making Lei Ibashi to be just a straw villain, and in doing so, he made it a much stronger message. Which the thing is, if you just push a message, you just get a weak message.
It's patronizing, is what it is.
Really, just bad propaganda.
I also hate this whole again, when people talk about this, X anime is sexist,
Well, here's the thing about that. That could potentially spark an interesting discussion, but
yes,
when these people say that, they're not looking for discussion, and that's my problem with a lot of anime reviews. Is that they put their opinion out there, and that's fine and good. But if you're gonna put it out there in a review format, my understanding is that you're looking to have a discussion about it. A lot of these people aren't.
My assessment is the people that both create and view said works aren't concerned with, is this thing, they're concerned with, does this, do I like said girls,
Well, no,
because it's not bothering.
To a certain extent, maybe some of them might be, but the people disseminating the editorial works on these works aren't looking for a discussion about this, and that's.
By the way, if you know what, great example of what I'm talking about is the review for Photokano that I made you read.
Right, but it's and another facet of that is that there's this group of people say reviews they conflate a review with just one person's opinion.
They only do that when called on it.
Oh, certainly.
They write from a very authoritarian factoid style. But what they're saying is just conjecture,
Well, a very Western mentality.
Here's the thing.
Because
what we have to decide is whether a review is just one person's opinion, or whether it's something that is to a certain extent objective and needs to be backed up by stuff. Because we can do a review as just a person's opinion. Like I say,
we usually call those
I didn't
bloggers.
I didn't like Wolf's Rain.
Yeah.
And when you ask me why I didn't like Wolf's Rain, I could just say, yeah, I didn't like it. And
I don't have to explain myself to you.
I could, because if that's the case, I've been doing it all wrong for the past 8 years. Have I been doing reviews now? 6 years maybe. I've been doing it wrong I could write 4-word reviews. Review Wolf's Rain. Didn't like it.
Didn't like it. Past the Capri Sun.
Yeah, that's the review. If we're gonna do reviews or opinion, otherwise it just needs. Yeah, otherwise it needs to be backed up by stuff if we're gonna call it a review. Because otherwise we just need to respect everyone's opinion as a review and go from that.
Yeah. Also, when they watch one show but want it to be something else that it wasn't designed, I hate that shit too. Like, when they watch a slice of life Iyashikei type of thing, and then it's like, oh, it just needs a story. This thing needs, and I'm like, but that's not the point. There's
a lot of problems you're describing could be just boiled down to the people who are writing reviews have no perspective. None.
Well, it's not even that, and there's no like greater curiosity to even gain it.
No. They're going back to the tier system. They're not tier 3, and we need tier 3 to be writing reviews because those are the people who 1 have the knowledge and perspective, and 2 have the drive to gain further perspective.
Tier 1 thinking that they're tier 3.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I like, and this, I'll admit it on here. I don't know if I have or not, but I like commentaries and things like that. It's incredibly nerdy. I don't know anybody else.
You're on an anime podcast.
Yeah. Me and my non-nerdiness here. I don't know anybody else, and personally, that watches commentary on movies or anything like that. I always do. I think it lets you in deeper into things. It'll explain why they shot something a certain way, or just little anecdotal or trivial kind of things.
Why are you going to turn into a car?
But yeah, okay, and the same is true with anime. I like, when someone's points out that, oh, this director's style, is akin to previous work in such and such, or being able to spot things like that. This writer or animator is involved here in these specific episodes, so you can tell that they actually pay enough attention to stuff like that.
Yeah. And the people who have that sort of drive to gain that kind of in-depth perspective in the media they enjoy are the people we need writing anime reviews.
It'd be nice.
Because right now, it's just a lot of it is cult of personality.
Yeah, and a lot of it's very strange to me because several of these people are either younger than me, which is odd, or feels weird. It's like somebody, I don't know, say 5 years or something younger than you, telling you how you should do your shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it's just a weird feeling, you know.
Was it? We all can't forget. Oh God, what's his name? Real name? I don't want to say his real name.
Let's not be doing that.
Shit, what was his name? Invid Ninja.
Oh, Invid. Yeah. No, that guy.
And then it turned out, he was like 18 or something. Like,
but it's that kind of, and to a certain extent, it's not really age, but it's the level of knowledge. It's the level at which they're at in fandom, really.
True. Like Anubis is way younger than me, and yet he knows a lot of the stuff I know.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just I want to know this stuff.
Well, right,
so
because
I seek it out.
Right, because if you didn't, you wouldn't know it. I mean,
exactly.
there'd be no drive to learn any of this stuff.
Like that's correct me if I'm wrong. That's one of the core tenets of being a nerd / geek or whatever. Like, you obsess about this stuff and you want to know everything you can know about it just cause.
Have you ever run across somebody that like a Trekkie or somebody like that, and they can tell you the fucking episode production numbers of things?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, this Simpsons, they don't call it by its title, they call it by like #370 page or some shit. That was completely made up.
Which is funny because there's some people that complain that anime fans don't know the name of the directors of the shows that they like.
That's, I don't know. Anybody who's really invested in anime, it seems like that's not really true.
I've heard that complaint, that same complaint VZ's talking about.
Yeah. Although the thing about me with directors is really a director for anime, most anime is he's just adapting someone else's work.
Right. And as we all know, anime directors are all crazy.
Naturally. You kind of have to be.
You do. The more you look at it, the more you really kind of have to sit there and think, okay, this is not exactly what we would call a luxurious industry in terms of being, acquiring financial security or anything like that. Long hours, thankless job, irritating as fuck fans.
Also, I hate when they say, because I've read some shit about where they really want to make this thing, but they're they have to go with what the otaku want.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm like, nobody's forcing you to be in that job.
Yeah, I mean, really,
Or go independent. Go independent if you want to make the thing that you want.
Kickstarter's real big.
I won't use it, but it's real big.
I'm not going to support anything on Kickstarter, but Kickstarter's real big.
Like that thing under the dog?
Like that thing under the dog.
I have a very...
As long as you're not a complete... what's the word I want to use? Not a complete prick on the... Trying to big up your project through negativity. I hate that.
Yeah. Which seems to be every one of these things that's like,
Every one of these real big Western fandom things.
Yeah. Psychopaths, Flowers of Evil, Under the Dog. It's always the same thing.
It's always we're not like the others,
We're trying to not be Moe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
which is funny because it's naturally.
Psychopaths was actually good. It's like.
So, well, not to speak to the quality of the shows.
Yeah.
He
But
just doesn't like the intent.
I don't like when you're promoting your thing based on what it's not rather than what it is. I want to know what your thing is, not what it's not. It's like if I was to build a Ford F-150 and I say, well, it's not a Nissan Altima, that doesn't tell me anything about what it is. It just pisses off people who like Nissan Altimas.
Which I think that actually it really is the cultural divide in how these things are looked at, because I mean, people accuse the Japanese of not criticizing their own material.
Yes, yes, I've heard about that. Yeah.
But that's a cultural thing. They're just really polite.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that sentiment. I really do.
A
lot of where I'm hearing it from is from people who are in the critic space here and don't like that. They get messages from the Japanese creators saying, "Oh, I didn't like what you did with this review here," and the review they were talking about was a legitimately garbage review, basically a hit piece.
Well, right, and that's kind of what I mean, in the sense that even if they were to say something bad, again, a definite cultural difference here. Yeah. Even if you were to say something bad, I'll use a primary example. One of my old history professors from way back used to say that he had a Japanese couple that moved in next door. All right, she would he was boning up on trying to be able to talk to them in their native tongue, right?
Right.
And she would say that oh, you're getting better. And then he was kind of pulled aside and said, she's just politely telling you suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different type of criticism.
And I mean, love it or hate it, America doesn't really have that polite system, that different tiers of being polite like that.
No, we tend to be really blunt with our opinion.
Or if not even that, but when we, I don't know. There's no societal pressure to be polite in that way.
Also, that comes into why you don't really see sarcasm in anime, because it's not a native mentality,
Right.
Sarcasm comes from a want to be critical of the society that you're living in, and by and large, otaku don't want to be, they watch people that watch the anime, watch it to get, just as an escape.
Well, people watch anime they like.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm saying. Okay, so let's see if I can. I run a anime reviewing news outlet that's been around for years and years and years, and I start writing, and I've started from the beginning just writing all these just really garbage reviews about this media, and am I gonna not expect the people who make this stuff to be mad at me? If I made a work of media and I'm disseminating it to the masses for all these critics to review, and I get legitimate pieces, and this one person or this one organization thinks they have the audacity to just, I don't even have the word for it, to just not even write anything worthwhile, not even give my work time of day, but make a complete joke out of it. Yeah, I'd ask them to stop that. And it's not from because see, this is an experiment with no control. These people write these pieces, and the Japanese creators say, "Hey, we don't like that. We'd like you to stop doing that." And they automatically go to, "Oh, well, the Japanese just don't have an institution of criticism in their society." Where is the control for that? We could see, because let's run an anime reviewing outlet that doesn't do that kind of thing, and see if in the amount of years ANN has existed, they start getting these letters for negative reviews. Not necessarily garbage reviews, negative reviews. Reviews of things, "I didn't like this very much," instead of, "Oh, this is crap," oh, and all this stupid bull crap.
Well, you wouldn't think that like the personal shit too, like, oh, this person clearly needs a fund to go get laid or go to a strip club or something.
Oh, that kind of stuff
like
too.
that.
Exactly. That's ridiculous.
I mean,
the people that made this show just need to, get laid. I'm like the high school DxD.
I'm sure they're cracking themselves up, but
the review for high school DxD.
I'm sure they think it's hilarious, but those of us who are in it to get value out of it, we're left in the dust because they just want to be funny. And you know what? I'm not. Number one, if I want to watch funny stuff, it's the internet. I have a plethora of other things I could be consuming. Number two, I'm not that guy who needs to be chuckling all the time.
Well, yeah, it's really funny to hear some of these people say, "Oh, they just need to get laid," and then you see a picture of them, and it's like, dude, come on now.
Well,
yeah.
And besides, a review is pretty much is the question of, should I watch this, or someone asking you, should I watch this piece of media or not?
Is this work of media worth my time / money?
Yes.
That's the question.
That's kind of why I write.
Boil it down to the question I ask. I can always come back to: is the anime good?
Yes. And sometimes I find it difficult to write a bunch of really clever things. Like sometimes it just doesn't come to you. Like for example, I think my favorite thing I wrote when I wasn't hadn't anything really clever to say was is the Order a Rabbit. I literally said, this show is like buying a jar of peanut butter and finding there's peanut butter in it.
Choose the otakus, choose Jeff.
That was my favorite show of the year, by the way.
But exactly. It's number one. It's possible to be witty without being hostile.
Yes.
Is the word I'll use.
Yeah. Also, I hate.
Number two, it's to a certain extent, it's simply not necessary. If I'm looking for a review, I'm just looking for insight. I'm not looking for hilarious or clever. And if that stuff's in there and it's good, that's all the better. I'll get a little chuckle out of it and continue reading.
I noticed this
it's not important.
Yeah, I know this backlash over the years towards something that's designed to sell product. When they say the show's Dakimaku ready, or this, or build fighters, it's like, how dare they, the show,
it's like, anime is a commercial product, right?
You mean it's not just? You mean they're not just doing it for the arts?
Yeah.
They're trying to get the message out. They're trying to get
Remember the Japanese Imperial War propaganda
about life and philosophy and
what is that
and themes.
So what does Dakimakura already mean? Because I have an Evangelion Dakimakura.
Because it means you have sex with pillows.
Because it's for lonely virgin losers. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Why is that bad? You know, why are you doing the virgin shaming shit? You know,
that's not attacking the fan base.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's reviews that are lousy with that.
Or even better, assuming what you think the fan base is like, you know, like Republican Moe fans, conservative Moe.
That one still baffles me. I have yet to see the Republican Jesus Moe fan.
Oh no, it's real easy. There's this one group of people I don't like, and all of my friends don't like. There's this other group of people I don't like, and all my friends don't like. Putting them both together just saves us time.
You know, it's delicious like s'mores. You know, it's just you put it together and
I have never seen the Moe, like the conservative Moe.
Exactly. The guy who's hanging out there holding up signs, you know, like brutalize criminals, lower taxes, and you know. And even if they did exist, there would probably be so few of them. It would be an anomaly.
You know,
it doesn't. The real crux of the issue is it doesn't matter.
I think it also comes to the fact that they think, you know, they see Moe, i.e. the whole, you know, the protecting equals, you know, sexism, thus traditional values.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing, though. I mean, because they want to protect the world from bad shit that they can't do anything about. You know, so that's incredibly stupid. Like they're preventative people. They want to create problems when there are none.
Oh yeah, well that's just what the whole social justice thing is all about. You know.
Oh, it is. It totally is.
I gotta prevent this thing by happening by having the media that might depict the thing, but only in a fictional sense, because you know, you basically gotta wipe the slate clean of all, you know, things that are unpure.
Yeah,
there's a sentiment that every single work of media has a message within it.
Actually, it's incomplete enough that I don't want people to completely work on this statistic, but here's an interesting statistic. There's two countries, Japan and India. One allows porn, and one doesn't. Japan is the rape capital of the world. One is not.
Huh.
It's not Japan.
Right.
Of course, some of those people will say, you know, rape is underreported in Japan.
It's underreported everywhere.
Yeah, even if that were true, it's still not.
The numbers would still be lower than a lot.
Here's the thing.
Oh, India is like,
There's some things that happen in macrocosm in microcosm, but the proportions stay the same. So taking that, it's still significantly lower than a lot of the rest of the world. Just some food for thought there.
Right, and I understand what he's saying, because India has also one of the biggest populations in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And Japan, relative to its size, is a large population. Certainly.
Also, India has atrocious pollution.
True. That has nothing to do with rape, but I mean, if that were true, it would be happening a lot more here, and in China. You know, because I remember I had a friend come in from out of town. I think they're from like Annapolis, Maryland. You know, and you know they came and just like got a big whiff of the air around where I used to live, not where I live now, but where I used to live. And they're like, "How can you stand this?" It's like, it smells like home. Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's like they're just looking at me. It's like, no, you don't understand it. It's so normal to me that I smell like the steel mills, you know, and the you know what I mean. Yeah. I smell that, and it's like it's not weird to me. But I understand if you're coming out of the city and coming into it, and it's just like, holy fuck, dude, you know, that is rancid. You know?
But yeah, that's the whole thing. Is they don't want certain things to be depicted in media because they think that depicting things in media promotes these things as the values and messages of that media. When number one, that's not necessarily the case. Number two, even if it was the case, it's a long shot to say that watching a certain work of media will affect your worldview in such a profound manner that watching High School DxD will make you into a sexist. Watching Shuffle will make you into a sexist. Watching Terraformers will make you into a racist. Stuff like that.
Reading Comic LO will make you into a
pedophile.
Yeah.
Here's another statistic. Thinking, you know that San Diego Comic Con is in the past few years has had a large boom of female participants.
Absolutely.
Do you know what franchise caused all these women to go?
What's that?
It was Twilight.
Uh-huh.
Yet those same people, there's something you have to ask if someone truly says Twilight is misogynist. It's yet to say this, you have to say that there's an extremely popular form of entertainment that was created by women for the consumption of other women that is popular, that hates the creator and its primary consumer base.
Maybe they're cannibalistic.
I mean, hey.
You did say that they consume them.
And to a certain extent, this is kind of the same thing with those josei romance stuff, where the guy's really abusive and that's supposed to be sexy, and they all think that's sexist, but a lot of it's created by women for women.
Well, have you ever come across the I hate to bring this up, but like a fujoshi that doesn't see anything like odd about liking like hardcore yaoi porn, but sees something wrong with you liking strike witches?
Right, like it's.
I know there's people like that out there.
And then when you point it out to them, they're like, it's not the same thing. It's like, yeah, it is.
It's the same damn thing.
It's like, yeah, I've never understood that. Fortunately, you don't come across them too often, but when you do, it's like you're going to the screeching hole. You know, it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like and to a certain extent, you're 100% correct on that, because I haven't really encountered very many of those people. And most of the fujoshi that I associate
I love most of them.
Fujoshi are great. They're 100% self-aware. 100%.
Oh yeah, and those are the best kind. Not again. We're talking like we're studying something in the wild. but in some cases, it does feel like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think to say the abusive male, almost wouldn't you say that in a way he is, in fact, the tsundere?
Well, certainly, in a way, I suppose. Also, I guess it depends on how it's being portrayed.
Also, I got one for you. How about, like, when people criticize certain lowly stuff or whatever, and then you find out that, or things that are perverted, whatever, and then you find out, the creator's a woman.
Yeah, and then they try to change
Becky Ray, Mitsudo Moe.
They try to change the narrative to they have internalized issues or some shit like that, and it's like or they're being just paid really well.
Or they haven't they're not enlightened to Western morality. Whatever.
No. Why would people expect them to be?
Yeah, there's. It's interesting. I mean, I also hate how people say there's this culture war. Not really. There are people that are, and we'll call them fringe nut jobs because that's what they are.
Yeah.
That basically are trying to force these kind of opinions and not just opinions, but lifestyles even in some cases. Values. That's a good word. Values on people that are really just not very interested.
Don't care. They don't care.
I mean,
just want to enjoy their entertainment.
You know, there needs to be a point where these people kind of get that memo that, hey, I'm going to do me, you can do you.
Yeah.
That sounds so wrong.
Precisely.
I'm going to do you.
That's what it really that's what it comes down to as far as this whole thing goes. It's because the problem isn't that we have people looking into this stuff and talking about the sexism and all that. The problem is they're trying to push their perspective on other people rather than have a discussion. And that's really what needs to come out of reviews is that discussion, because that's what's important. The opinion isn't all that important. I can get an opinion from anybody. But when I read a review, I'm looking to get some sort of perspective on whatever work from the author of the review, and I expect that author to have perspective on the medium, and I expect that author to have the drive and the want and the need to gain further perspective on that medium through discussion. That's
I also hate when they say. Yeah, I know I keep saying I hate this, but really, when you see like oh, this review is like soulless. I mean, this show is soulless, or this you know.
Well, I mean, sometimes that's okay to say because I mean, let's face it, you've seen a show that is.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we've all have.
There are shows out there that are definitely soulless.
Like if you
this season.
Like if you had what you would call it, if like you took all the parts, like you know, disparate parts, you know, and put them all together, like oh okay, I like X, Y, and Z, and you put them all together, and you still don't like it because it's soulless, you know, it's one of those. It has all the right tools. It just
This anime was made like a car.
Some of them think anime was made like a car.
So they just took.
If they took out the fan service, the whole show would just improve. Like the fan service was put in there.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah. By the way, we're taking the ashtray out of your car.
Exactly. But so how do we fix reviews? I mean, we're talking about all the stuff that's wrong with them. How do we fix this?
I honestly think we're not going to see anything like that until anime has its own like Gamergate. Where
to a
people,
certain extent, yeah.
I mean, we are seeing
upheaval.
We're seeing we are seeing some changes though. I mean, we are definitely seeing shifts because if you go on the forums, which I don't really recommend because you'll lose your hair.
It's a bad call.
Most anime forums are absolutely terrible. Because the moderators are on these really like crazy power trips and
A lot of them are these people.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They've installed themselves in these kind of like positions to where they can, okay, that's my opinion. You don't get to comment on it.
Exactly. But to a certain extent, I think K-Gods is right. We're not going to see a real big shift until that kind of upheaval happens. Because we're seeing, it's like we said last year, the cynicism, the negativity, it's on its way out. And we're right. People are gradually getting tired of it.
I love how, like, on ANN, people have been actually using, the term that anti-Moe brigade.
That you coined.
Yeah. And I think, I think it's realization that there is Well, there's a point for the edification or try to be enlightened, but that really has to come. If that does not come from the creator, it will never work.
Exactly.
It'll suck.
I think one thing for people, one way to at least to turn the tide is, again, people calling out, because not enough people call out.
And I'm not sure if that's like some kind of bizarre like fear, like, you know, of being like surrounded and ostracized by these people. But if anything, you should have taken away from this whole game situation is that they don't respond well to this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And in some cases, they really do put their foot in their mouth.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll go on record and say that some of these people are never going to have a career in this field ever again.
Hopefully.
I mean, just based off some of their things that people have screen capped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, comparing Gamergate to ISIS.
Oh yeah.
Or the Holocaust. You know, like, you know, people who are, you know, enforcing things that are like the Holocaust, you know. Just these really crazy like uses of hyperbole, you know.
Right. But yeah, I think we're slowly moving towards the point at which people are just straight up tired of it. And I think that's a really good thing.
It's nice. I remember when watching anime was just about watching it and talking about it and not like all this other extraneous crap.
Yeah, remember that?
I mean, there's always been people that have, you know, like complained about, you know, is this thing about too sexual in anime or whatever, you know.
Yeah, but they were the minority.
Yeah, that, and they were also the outside of the fandom.
Right. They were outliers. They were people that were coming into it from a different perspective that has, well, just that. You know, they're coming into it from places like, in some cases, like science fiction or, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's plenty of anime that's sci-fi, but, you know, let's not pretend all of it is.
Right. In any case, I think as far as anime reviews go, number one, we just need people who have perspective. Those tier 3 people who have a lot of knowledge and seek to gain a lot of knowledge in these positions as the critics and reviewers, because that's where we're going to get the value. That's where we're going to get the discussion.
Okay, and let's say you're writing your own reviews. What would be some tips there?
First off, I know this is going to sound bad. It's going to sound like an English professor or something like that. But my first thing is know what you're going to ultimately say.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. See, and to a certain extent, it starts when you're watching the show.
Yeah, you kind of you kind of start internalizing like ideas and.
Precisely when you're watching, like, because when I'm watching the show and I've got the show up on the screen here and I'm taking little mental notes of how I would describe the animation, how I would describe this character, that character, the opening, the music, the voice acting, and that's all these little stuff I'm thinking about while I'm watching the anime.
In some cases, I almost have to watch it twice. One, just to take it in, and if because I do, if I'm reviewing something, I watch it specifically with that in mind. I know that might sound kind of odd, but when I'm just watching something for leisurely, that is not what I'm basing my review off of, because that is me just taking it in, as it were. Whereas when I review something, I'm much more. I don't actually have like a memo pad and a pen, but
sometimes I do.
Yeah, sometimes I do, but most of the time I do not. Because otherwise, you probably wouldn't enjoy the show as much as if you're sitting there with a pen and paper the first time you're watching it.
Right.
You just really won't, because you're trying to jot down shit, and you got subtitles in my case most of the time.
You know what really helps when doing a review is taking screenshots, because that kind of makes you remember the important parts.
See, what I do is I'll usually watch it 2 to 3 times. I might watch it once just to go through it, another time to go through it with that mentality in mind, where I'm looking for what I would think of the characters and the animation and the art and the story and all that. And then the third time is when I'm just going through taking screenshots. I do the screenshots last.
You always say it's your least favorite thing of doing it.
It's my least favorite part of doing the review. But the reason I do the screenshots last is because I have the review written out, and I take the screenshot to kind of illustrate what I'm talking about at a particular point in the review.
Right, and instead of bolding like a sentence or a letter, you just pop the picture in there, and it kind of correlates with what you're saying.
Precisely.
Or at least that's the idea.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't exactly match up. Sometimes I just put something in there just because I like the picture. But most often, it's something that kind of is related to whatever I'm talking about in the paragraph I put it next to.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go on record and say every once in a while I'll actually go back and read your school days. How should you call that? How do you want to word that? Because you did each episode.
I don't even know how to word that, honestly.
Almost like a mini project of sorts. But it's great because it's one of the few times you've done something an episode by episode, review, as it were. I mean, and that's not something you do usually.
No.
It's not your style at all. You're not Random Curiosity, Which, hey, that's not a slag on them, by the way.
Not to be disparaging to Random Curiosity.
Not at all. Some of us actually need those picks and those summaries, because we can't do that. Some of us don't have the time or even necessarily that level of motivation. But I really don't see anything.
That's just how I go about it.
But I'll read it, and one thing I enjoy about it, even upon rereading it, is you can tell that's what you were thinking right then and there.
Yep.
And as the episodes progress and the story gets more and more unpleasant.
Well, to a certain extent, that's sort of different. That's more like a stream of consciousness thing, where I am putting exactly what I'm thinking, whereas a review is more. It's more deliberate, and I know what I'm gonna say here, and I know what this picture is gonna correlate to, and all that.
Right, but some of the things, some of my favorite writing of yours, that was whether you were meaning for it or not, was genuinely humorous.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if you were necessarily even going for that so much as just being blunt. But it was really funny to me, and it helps it out, of course, if you've seen the show. But yeah, the frustration is real. I mean, you can tell just by the way it's written.
That's how I go about doing my reviews. I'll write out the thing, take the screenshots, and then go from there. And I'll watch it like a reviewer. Because that's how you gotta watch this stuff, is that you gotta watch it with that mentality in mind. Otherwise, you're just watching the thing, and you're not gonna get the whole shebang out of it. In any case, we're up against the break. Keep it right here on NTR Radio.
We have mail, right?
Nope. Actually, we have one.
Okay. Well.
That sounded bad.
All right.
Okay, that was good.
Let's try to keep the third subject, the third part, short.
Okay.
That actually, while you're saying that, let me get out my Gamergate.
Yeah, same here.
Related thing here.
This thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Where the hell did I put that?
I'll be right back.
No, that was real stupid. I just opened up code for something. Not gonna play any music?
I'm working on it. That's the wrong song.
You should play the thong
It's on
song.
shuffle. I don't have the thong song.
You should get the thong song.
What is the track I was gonna play?
For those out
That's
there
the
that
last
are
one. Figures.
listening to the
Yeah,
live
here we
version
go.
of this, who are listening to this live, that goes back to a conversation we had offline, or not offline, but off air, I guess. Would be. That actually sounds like something from Earthbound.
And it's from something that's most certainly not Earthbound. MechWarrior 2: Ghost Bear's Legacy.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm just saying it reminded me of like, I don't know, Threed or something like that. Sure, somebody's like, oh, you mentioned Earthbound. Or Mother 2 for the weeaboos.
Actually, thinking about it, I'm gonna actually have to start getting the all the anime worth watching podcast up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let us know what you're doing with that, because I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, it's and the thing is, I'll have to figure out the first episode. I might have to just talk by myself because then I actually have a few shows I planned ideas, especially to invite you guys since my plan is to just do shows of episodes of shows I like and what am I saying? And invite guests who like said show.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Yes, it's gonna be a positive thing.
It's a good thing.
Yes. And there will be no Flowers of Evil episode.
But isn't rotoscoping so fresh and
It was from the 80s or 70s.
so different, fresh, and edgy and hipster and.
Personally, I'm just short of thinking if it was any worse, I would almost say I'd be okay with Hitler if he only went after hipsters instead of Jews.
Bold words on NTR Radio.
And just think about it. It'd be the easiest genocide ever. Why?
Just start nailing Starbuckses.
The hipsters would support it ironically.
That actually is pretty funny. It's like when you see that guy wearing the trench coat in like 90 or 100-degree weather. They're trying to make a fashion statement. It's like, no, you're not.
Oh, yeah, trying to get you stroke.
Or are you a flasher, or do you have a bomb in there? Or?
Yeah, exactly. Are you like? Yeah, I don't get it. No, it's not that I don't get liking a trench coat or that look. I totally get that. I don't get making yourself miserable to wear it though.
Also, I don't get the whole fedora hate thing.
It's stupid.
That's another thing where these people I don't like do this thing I don't like, so I'm gonna associate the two with them.
Yeah. Well.
Oh wow, we do have mail.
And the funnest aspect about that is really that it's going to outlive them.
It was around before them.
It'll be
It
around,
will be
after,
around
them.
after them.
The fedora will outlive them.
And my whole deal with the fedora is you just have to wear a matching jacket
You gotta have the look.
Yes.
Yeah, like okay, you don't wear. First off, why in the hell would you wear like an orange or a pink fedora? You know how you see these like multicolored weird ones, you know? I don't know. Maybe is that supposed to be ironic?
Also, the whole brony hate thing. Even though I don't care about MLP, but it's like
that's just another thing. And to a certain extent, it's like these people are weird to me. So I don't like them. I'm gonna hate on them. It's just I feel like it's kind of the same because I don't get why furries are so hated. Like how the whole room just went silent.
It's not that I agree or disagree. I don't know how to respond to that.
But it's like I don't see any reason why that should happen.
No, not really.
Like,
I mean, people make the. God.
Like they pretty much keep to themselves. They have their own communities and their own stuff. They even have their own porn. There's no reason.
But they like animals. But why do they want to fuck animals?
I like cats.
This coming from people that support PETA.
Yeah. Anyway, we do have 2 legitimate emails now.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we gotta come back here.
Yep. Give me 1 second. Everyone ready?
Yes.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to NTR Radio. We have mail as I use the soundboard for the first time in the episode.
Incoming message.
This first one's coming from Zeke Freak.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because we said some stuff last week.
No, he's thanking us. Again, thanks for the criticism of my anti-Aniplex argument. Just wanted to let you know my counter response is now up here, and he has a YouTube link. I won't give you the raw wave file unless you ask for it, because I know regardless of how fun or interesting it was last time, it was a bit of a hassle for you guys that I kind of forced on you. You didn't force it on us. I forced it on us.
Yeah, so he's a rapist, clearly.
Yes. Okay, so I got called a rape apologist that one time. Now I've gone full-fledged. I just wanted to let you guys know that this counter response existed is all. Ciao for now.
Okay.
We're Aniplex apologists.
Aniplex
Yes.
apologists. Not really so much as I just understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, I understand where they're coming from. I would certainly like if their releases were cheaper.
I would like to afford.
But I also live in the
stuff.
real world.
Yes, exactly.
I would also like a nice sports car.
I would get Rebellion if it was a little less. I'm gonna try to get it at Comic-Con though. I'm gonna try to get it.
For some reason, I can see you trying to buy it from like a scalper or something. That type of person where he's out there.
It's that guy in the trench coat. In the
90-degree weather.
What's a Monica?
He's like, I got the stuff, man. like it's some kind of drug deal.
Wait. Hey, what's a Monica?
Yeah.
What's a Monica?
You want some Maho Shoujo? I got your fix.
Got the head tilt.
I give it to me.
Yeah, I got the head tilt.
Give it to me. I need it.
Yeah.
I need to inject the Monica in my veins.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, we got one coming in from GB the Third.
Okay.
Okay.
Heyo NTR. I was wondering how you guys feel about the term same-faced when used in criticism of a character designer or artist. If money was... okay, so that's one question. Go.
I've heard about that before.
How is that any different from, what's that term? I think it starts with an I. Shit. XP or something like that?
XP?
XP.
Yeah. One character looks very similar from a character from another franchise or thing.
It's never really bothered me too much. I mean,
like you've heard about the Rei Ayanami XP.
Right, which there's a lot of those.
Well, no, what he's more talking about when a particular artist draw it, like all the artist's characters have similar looking faces.
Oh, okay. What's it called? Gundam Seed has that problem.
Yeah. Some artists are better at differentiating than others, but at the same time, it's their character design style. So
right. Bible Black. There's another one.
I actually think Bible Black's pretty differentiated. But here's my thing, and this is going to be an analogy that like 5 people that listen to this podcast are going to get. I think I might have actually used this on this podcast before, but here goes. There's a hip-hop beat producer named Swizz Beatz. And I've listened to a lot of songs that uses beats, and one thing that I kind of can't figure out is whether I think all of his beats sound the same, or whether he just has a really distinctive style that all his beats sound so similar to one another because that's his style and because that he's developed that so deeply as what he does.
I do remember you mentioning this on some level.
Yeah.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
It's sort of like the Swizz Beatz dilemma, where I don't know if it's just that the artist isn't competent at drawing different faces, or whether that particular style of face is just that artist's style.
Right. Okay. Well, I have to follow up since you said Bible Black is pretty differentiated. I actually made a mistake there. Okay. It's not so much their faces as their actual body types.
To a certain extent.
Or they all have the same like breast size and like kind of hips and form, you know.
Yeah. I love seeing.
It's subtleties, right?
I love shows that.
If you really look at the subtleties, they do have different thighs and different breasts and all that, but it all looks kind of similar because that's what that artist draws.
Right.
But
I love shows that have like
That's why people have blue hair.
Different body types and such. That does it makes the variety of like in fun drawing, like like.
Well, it's kind of like Akio Takami, right? Because he draws a lot of thick girls, and like that's his style.
Isn't that the Ladies versus Butler and
exactly? Like,
oh yeah,
Ladies versus Butler is Kana-kan. And that's the kind of female character he draws.
You another good example would be like Tony.
Yeah, Tony Saka.
You recognize his style like a mile away.
Also, yeah. Satoshi Yoshihara.
Yoshihara
as well.
My man. Yeah.
Anyway, continuing. If money was no object and space was no issue, what pinball machine or arcade machine would you own? Ready, go.
Ooh, crap.
I know my answer right off the bat, so I'll just go. Cyber Troopers Virtual On.
Ha ha ha.
If I could pick 2, Cyber Troopers Virtual On and Cyber Troopers Virtual On or Toyo Tangram version 5.66.
I would go with probably the arcade version of R-Type 2. Ooh. Or let's see. Just because it has stages that were cut out.
Ah.
And
I know what I'd get. I'd probably get that Simpsons arcade game.
Huh.
I used to love that game when I was a kid, and I haven't played it since. So, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, it's kind of a beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I played that one, and
Bart uses his skateboard. Lisa's got the jump rope. Marge uses the vacuum cleaner. Homer just punches him in the face.
Oh, I would cheat and say I'd go with one of those Ultracade things, which allows you to play all the games.
Oh yeah,
that has like I don't know,
like Neo Geo.
Like a Midway machine that has all these classic arcade games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. As for pinball, try to get an Evangelion one in my room somehow.
I haven't really played very much real life pinball. I played plenty of pinball games on the computer, and of course stuff like Sonic Adventure and Sonic Spinball for the 15 seconds I played that horrible game. But I've never really played very much real life pinball. Most of the arcade games I've played were arcade games.
Yeah.
Primarily Virtual On and light gun shooters. I
remember my my other grandfather. He's not alive anymore, but he used to have a pinball machine that I got, but it never really worked correctly because it was just very old and all the parts were expensive to replace.
I feel like that's like the ultimate baller thing that you can do with your life is like you make a whole lot of money and you have this big house and you just have an arcade machine in your house.
That's like, you know what? I feel like playing Mortal Kombat today.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna play it on. I'm not gonna play it on my Genesis.
Yeah, you don't boot up the Genesis. You walk over to the arcade box.
And you just like, I don't need to pay quarters. Quick.
Or if space was really no object, my third choice would be the huge 8-player Daytona USA machine that with like the chair you're in rocks left to right as you turn. I played that once. It was fantastic.
Oh, I got one. I would probably get Time Crisis or something like that.
Yeah. That would be not even Time Crisis, Ghost Squad, because that's not that full size submachine gun. Oh, I'll rock that game.
Or that has like the motorcycle type things where you're like road rash or you're driving.
Hang On.
Yeah. Wow, we're dorks.
Okay, any Sega Model 2 arcade machine, just deliver it to me and I'll be fine. Virtua Fighter 2, Dead or Alive, Virtua Cop, Virtual On definitely, Daytona USA, Sega Rally Championship, yeah.
Oh, I know an arcade. I know an arcade I would like to find. I would like to own Polybius. Let's see if you get what I'm talking about.
I have no clue.
Isn't that one of those Gradius spin-offs?
No, it's actually an urban legend.
No, I know that one. Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I am clearly missing something. So, would someone care to, elaborate on that?
Here.
Wasn't it some kind of like mind control thing or something like that?
Here, I put it on the side
or something like that.
I don't even have that open right now. So,
it's
right there.
But yeah, any Sega Model 2 arcade machine. A lot of the Sega Model 3 arcade machines, a lot of the stuff that never made it over here because arcades were never big. I'd love to play Senko no Ron Duo. I'd love to play something like... I'd like to play Border Down in the arcade just so I can suck at it.
You could get a DDR machine too.
Yeah, I can suck at that too.
Yeah, I know, but then you could film it and it would be funny.
Yeah. That'd be so awful. DDR.
To me, that's one of those games that, like, if you're not good at it, alcohol almost has to be involved. and when that occurs, it's usually two people that are completely plastered trying to, I'm better than you.
See, what happens is I got friends who rock DDR, but so I watched my friend get up and just destroy this DDR machine. And then I get pumped because he makes it look easy. So now I step up to the machine and I do like one level above what I was supposed to be on, and I just look like an ass.
I have never played. I've seen people play DDR at cons. I never played it. I feel like if I did, I would be absolutely terrible because I have no standing agility at all for anything like that.
I think I'd probably start laughing and fuck up.
Yeah, I'm very good at like micro work, text work. Anything that's like macro work is. That's why I was never good at sports.
Yeah, I was never that DDR guy. I'm better with my hands than with my feet.
Shout out to SP. Sorry, you guys mentioned sports.
Do I have that drop in?
We should have that drop in.
We get laid. We play football and we get laid.
Close enough.
But yeah, so those are the arcade games I'd get. Virtual On, basically any of either of the first two Virtual On games. Either one doesn't really matter to me. They're both fantastic. And last statement. P.S. It was me, Cubase III, who sent the Madoka DVD movies to VZ.
Yeah.
John.
I said Cubase the Third, right? Or did I say Kikaku?
You said Kikaku, yeah.
Yeah, Cubase the Third. That's what I meant.
Right. Okay. Well, we actually have something we want to bring up here.
Yep. Right before we close out the show.
One thing I want to bring up first before.
Go ahead.
This hopefully, barring anything happening, like the last time, I should be on the Josh V's Otaku CDX, not Otaku, just regular Collection DX video podcast.
Ooh.
So
okay. Yeah, you did mention that.
Yeah.
Okay, so check that out if you're interested. Is there a link or?
I'll put the show. Well, there might be a live thing. I don't know, but you know what? I'll just put the show in after.
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty. Good. All right. So the Gamergate thing, which me and Anubis did last, the special last time.
Yep.
We kind of actually have to kind of give a thank you list of sorts.
We're giving props.
Yeah. Thank you. Mad props. Captain Miss Shirako would be proud. These individuals were part of it in some way or another, whether it be coming up with the information or, in some cases, just providing moral support or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to read off a couple, and I'll go back. We'll go back and forth, or. Because I'm sure some of it, I'm almost certain there's going to be crossover.
We definitely have some overlap. Okay, I'll read one. You read one.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Monday Matt.
All right, he broke the story, and of course the amazing internet aristocrat.
Yep. Sargon of Akkad did a lot of pretty good videos about this.
Yep, that was very good. Got to thank the 5 young capitalists for
the fine young capitalists.
Fuck. God damn it. Sorry, the fine young capitalists. See, this is what happens when you make a typo.
Oddly enough, there are 5 of them, so.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, there you go.
5 fine young capitalists.
Both for the
advanced capitalism.
Yeah. Yes. Both for the the original story and congrats also on getting your fund.
Yeah.
It was like 65,000 or something like that, I believe.
Something like that.
Right. Okay. So all the best to you.
Yeah, Thunderfoot.
Yep.
You also did videos on this.
Very entertaining.
He's really been railing against this stuff for a long
time now. A special send out to short fat otaku.
Yep. Him and Camera Lady, who was responsible for getting all the information that was in the videos that Short Fat Otaku released.
Right. A personal friend of mine and a game developer, GM Shivers.
Yep.
That's her. That's her handle.
Also, this gentleman's handle. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Cacophonous, who runs Mechadamashi.
Okay. Yes. And let's see here. We also got to give some props to Adam Baldwin, surprisingly enough.
Yeah. Somehow.
Yeah, like, where did that come from?
Maddox, who also did did a video on this, I believe.
Yes, he did, I believe. I saw it in the also checkout list or something like that. Niche Gamer.
Oh yeah, they really blown up from this.
Isn't Boogie on the list too?
Yes.
Yes. Also Lord Cat.
Yep. For finding out some interesting things, or at least revealing some interesting things.
Very interesting things.
We'll just put it there. Everyone's favorite feminist, Christina Sommers.
Oh yeah. A real feminist.
Yeah. Again, thanks for the moral support. Thanks for taking an honest look at this stuff.
It goes out to Total Biscuit, who was one of the people who really first got on this.
And they were unfortunately one of the people who really was on the bad end of a smear campaign.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Since you already mentioned Mundane Matt, I could just mention some people actually from my timeline that actually kept me kind of in the loop when I couldn't myself because I was doing something else or another. Synthetic Twist is one of those guys.
Mm. Yeah, I started following him as this thing was unfolding. I both gained a lot of followers and started following a lot of people as the whole thing was unfolding.
And I lost some people that I don't care.
Yeah, I don't miss.
Yeah, exactly. Not at all. So if for some reason you're listening to this, and I highly doubt it, I don't care.
JonTron, who was also big on this.
Right, and that actually started before... He started getting the bad end of the stick before this even really broke.
Yeah, he was on. He was one of those people who was on this before this whole thing blew up.
Yeah. Another really interesting individual that was on my. I can't talk. I need water.
Mission failed.
Technoraptor.
You mean Tech Raptor, the blog, or the news outlet?
Fuck, dude, what the fuck am I doing?
Well, speaking of Tech Raptor, their newest writer.
I said Techno, clearly.
Yes, you said Technoraptor.
I said Technoraptor, which sounds like would be the name of an actual rap artist.
But yeah, speaking of Tech Raptor, their latest writer, Octale, aka Todd Rowling.
And the cover would just be Dinobot from Beast Wars, who turns into a raptor, for those who don't,
Yeah. Octale did a lot of really great articles on this, and just out of cycle shout out to him for being the best podcaster I've ever encountered.
Daniel Vavra, I hope I'm saying that right.
Jade Fox, who also did a couple videos on this.
Oh yeah, that was really entertaining.
Yeah.
And I don't actually have any more by name, so I'm just gonna have to say, unfortunately, since I don't have any more names, just basically all the people that kept me in the loop, that were interesting, even added some humor to it.
And I just have two more. Ken and Wayne, a.k.a. GoHex and Doc Dead of VTW Productions, who did an episode of their Show X podcast on this, which featured Octail, and they had some really good discussion about this as well.
Oh, I forgot somebody, and I apologize if I fuck up this name. I really do. And I'm actually, ready. Yeah, get the fail horn ready.
I got faith in you. Let's go.
Milo Yiannopoulos.
Close enough, I think. But yeah.
Yiannopoulos. It's Greek, obviously.
Yeah.
Both for being cool and just approaching this. Wasn't he hacked or something? Or the site he goes under?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Anyway, we're getting well off the path here. All these people, a lot of thanks.
A lot of thanks. A lot of props.
Some people actually did some real journalism.
Yeah.
Unlike the people they were, grilling. You guys and gals made it all possible.
Made it all possible.
And just saying thanks. I mean,
in any case, that's the show.
Yep.
Email address is ntrradio@gmail.com. The website is she'slostcontrol.net/podcast. Check out Otaku Midnight, the new podcast the second podcast on the She's Lost Control Media Network. They're really good. Check out VZ's stuff at vzmk2moyamekagatai.wordpress.com. K-God's still working on his blog, but he has a new Twitter. Go K-Gods.
Oh, yeah. You were probably familiar with it as at KGods00, which has changed to at Lazy Erica, ERICA00.
There you go.
And the reason I did that is way too long to get into here, but let's just say it involves a want to wipe the slate clean, an email situation, and a personal thing that just, it's not really important, so I'm not going to publicly disclose it.
There you go. Warp Shadow, where is your stuff at?
You can reach me at Jeckyllcast and blogspot. I will be I will be posting some new reviews. I'm working on an Isekoi review right now.
Ooh.
As well as a few shows that are going to wrap up in the next week.
Nice.
Very nice. So check out his stuff because it's also really good.
Thank you.
And I'm Tom Enforcer Anubis.
I'm K-Gods.
I'm VZ Mark II.
And even though the A&N editorial staff starts sharpening their pitchforks and lighting their torches every time we say it, this is NTR Radio. And we're good.
I